Alright, another thing I've been hearing as well about people with mental health. Mm, Let me clear that up for you. People with mental health problems going out there shooting people with a gun. Okay, your average black, Mexican, white, Middle Eastern, Asian, pink with purple fucking polka dot. It doesn't fucking matter. You got people out there every single day who does shit that does not have mental health problems, but yet takes a gun and shoots someone. So you're saying that everyone, you see, this is the problem. Stop blaming people. Stop pointing the finger at certain people. Okay? Stop. Some bitch who lost her son in the Waffle House shooting. Okay, they missed one. You. They missed a cunt. You. Just because you see a white man with a fucking gun does not make him goddamn mentally disabled. Same thing could go with the fucking former tree ornament. Oh, I'm sorry, a goddamn black guy. Doesn't make him mentally disabled. Oh, Shakir Taylor. That's the guy I'm thinking of. But yet, where does it? I mean, people with mental health disabilities being a problem to have a firearm in their possession did not start until like the 1960s. That is a bill, a legislation that passed by Democratic worthless bitches, mostly cunts, but same fucking difference in their case. And yet, can't go one fucking day without trying to take the rights away from others. I'm hoping that I may not like Trump, but this is one thing I will say. If he can actually tell all of you to shut the fuck up, you better fucking do it. You're you're literally blaming people that you don't know. You're They get one psych evaluation and claim, oh, and the doctors say that there's nothing going on, but you're twisting everything around by telling people, oh, this person has mental disabilities, this person has a fucking mental health disorder. Look, everyone should have the fucking right to defend themselves. It's in the Constitution. I'll actually look it up. And not only that, but also give everyone a fucking proper education on this shit. When did gun rights become an issue with Americans with mental disorders? 1960s. But that's the thing. There is no real absolute proof that people with mental health disorders and firearms is a big issue. Alright, for this one called Psychiatry Online, regulating access to guns in the U.S. For nearly 160 years, the nation's existence, no federal law regulated access to guns. This began to change in 1934 when the National Firearms Act was passed by Congress. Probably Democrats, probably at the time, you never know. It was aimed to restricting access to weapons such as submachine guns and, that were associated with the gangsters of the era. It was not until 1968 a more compressive federal regulatory structure was adopted, the Gun Control Act, which won congressional approval that year, prohibit sales of firearms to several classes of persons thought to be high risk of using them illegally. Among them, convicted felons, fugitives of the justice, illegal aliens, dishonorable discharge veterans, unlawful users of controlled substances, and most relevant to Clifford Taylor, persons adjusted as a mental defective or committed to a mental institution. Now, here's the fucking thing. Now, the only thing is about that, and that's from Psychiatry Online. I will present all these links in the description down below. You can hate me, I don't give a fuck. Because here's the thing, I don't give a fuck if you like me because the feeling is mutual. I hate you. How, how can a person with mental illness re-obtain their right to bear arms? Alright, according to this, but I'm going to go to the actual website where this is said, but this is AI overview on Google Chrome. Individuals with a history of mental illness can regain their right to bear arms through a process of relief from disabilities, typically involving a petition to a federal or state authority, often after demonstrating stability and no longer posing a danger. So basically, um, if the person has a mental health disorder, but also um, has the ability to sustain themselves, which means that they have to act like they don't have a disorder, and they have to also give up basically their disability income as well, which and I will actually be close to admitting what I make. I make at least almost 1,800 a month on disability income. I get a job at full-time job. I will probably say I won't even be able to make half of that because I would have to pay that out just so I can live. And honestly, I rather have my disability income and still be able to obtain my Second Amendment rights due to the fact that I can actually go hunting with with my rights. I can actually hunt big wild game whatever I'm about to move to. So yeah, and Democratic judges will probably just say, "Oh, you can't because you're a danger to yourself. What if you do yourself off?" No, I won't fucking kill my damn self. If a big fucking Cougar, yes, I do have some type of speech impediment as well, but that's my doing, not anyone else's. A mountain lion, an elk, a deer, a bear for crying out fucking loud. Tries to come at me on my property, yeah, I'm gonna shoot the fucker. I can use the meat, I can use the hide, and I can use the damn bones. Why not? So, uh, I mean, it just seems like this is actually okay, one page, but any of you guys can actually read this. Uh, affirmative defense is a person is not prohibited under 18 USC statute 29 922 G4 if the person received relief from a federal firearms disability under 18 USC statute 922 G4 by the Bureau of ATF, uh, ATFE, which is alcohol, tobacco, firearms, and explosives, under 18 USC statute 925C, or a proper federal or state authority under relief from disabilities program that meets the requirements of the NICS Improvement Amendment Act of 2007, Public Law 110 1 to 180. Mental health adjudication or commitment was imposed by a federal law department or agency, and the adjudication or commitment was set aside or expunged. Person fully released from mandatory treatment, supervision, or monitoring. Person found no longer suffer from the I knew it. They have to act like they don't have problems. That means they have to get rid of their disability income as well. Um, person found no longer suffer from the disabling mental health condition. Person has otherwise been found to be rehabilitated, or adjudication or commitment was based on solely on a medical finding without opportunity for hearing by a federal department or agency with proper jurisdiction. So that means, people, that in order for me to be able to actually hunt wild game, I have to literally give up my disability income that I've been getting since I was 15 years old. Um, but that's the thing. Now, also, it also says on this paperwork, and as I said, I'm putting all these links into the description down below. A person who is committed to a mental institution that, if that person has been formally committed to a mental institution by a court, board, commission, or otherwise lawful authority, this includes a commitment to a mental institution involuntarily for mental defectiveness or mental illness, or for other reasons such as for drug use. This the term does not include a person in a mental institution for observation or by voluntary admission. So that means that I will admit I have been hospitalized. I will admit that, but never once had I been involuntarily. I've been voluntarily. So there is a absolute difference. And of course, me living in a Christian go fuck off state, they'll actually see voluntarily, and then they'll still, make it, you know. The term lawful authority means an entity having a legal authority to make adjudication and commitments. The term mental institution includes mental health facilities, mental hospitals, sanitariums, psychiatric facilities, and other facilities that provide diagnosis by licensed professionals of mental retardation, or mental illness, including a psychiatric ward in a general hospital. So, a lot of this does not apply to me. Why? Because I actually know how to fucking read. Um, Now this one, mental health by talksonline.com, briefs, mental illness, gun rights. As I said, all of this will be in the description down below. Discussion that also touches on the impact of landmark Supreme Court decision, New York State Rifle and Pistol Association versus Braun. While Braun affirmed long-standing prohibits that prohibit prohibits on not allowed on fire not allowed to have firearms access for individuals with mental health conditions. It may open the door for future challenges and interpretations. For example, someone involuntarily committed as a juvenile but now leading a stable life may seek to restore their firearm rights, raising important constitutional question. Professor Madeira, I'm not even gonna let me find out who this um professor of law at Indiana University Moore School of Law explains that many mental health conditions can be temporarily and or manageable with treatment. Basically, if you take medication, you're fucked. You won't get your rights back because that means you won't be able to get your rights to bear arms. You won't be able to drive. You won't be able to do anything except be sponsored by VA, and I don't think they sponsor anyone right now. Despite this, federal restrictions can result in lifelong bar on firearm possession. States have varying approaches when it comes to the restoration of firearm rights, with some allowing petitions for restoration shortly after commitment and others requiring significant waiting periods or medical certifications. This, these processes are intended to permit people to seek treatment and help when they need it, and then be able to restore their Second Amendment rights once they have recovered. The professor argues that a process for restoration of rights is necessary under the Second Amendment and meet the standards of due process. But all this had started because of gangsters, mobsters, and gangsters in the 1930s. Sorry, I keep on doing this. I need to get rid of this. I will be doing that next in the beginning of the month. But going on from 1934 to 1968, 1968 is when they really put the boot up the ass. Um, which I fucking hate because I grew up around guns. I will admit it. I grew up around guns. Yes, a lot of us were somewhat unstable, but stable enough to where we did not have to depend on the fucking government saying, you need to give those up. You need to give up your rights. Why? We hunt. We hunt our food. We actually hunt deer. We hunt whatever, okay? My dad, my uncles were hunters. A lot of my families were hunters. When I was younger, my dad did try to take me to go hunting. I was so tired early that morning. I did not go. But now with the country the way it is, and me actually going out of state from Tennessee, where I've born and raised, to the middle of nowhere, where the possibility of encountering a big wild game like an elk, moose, deer, mountain lion, a bear is more likely to have an encounter with me than a blood, crip, vice lord, gangster disciple, MS-13, Brown Pride, Latin King, Cartel, Oathkeeper, Proud Boy, Patriot Front, and Blood Tribe and Confederate Nazis. I have more chance of encountering a wild game animal than I do those cornholes. So with me actually wanting to actually use my Second Amendment rights for actual hunting and buying food because where I'm moving to, I'm miles away from the nearest fucking grocery store, so I have to live off the land. So, growing my own vegetables, growing my own fruits, no big deal. I can do that. I will do that. Hunting my own food, again, no big deal. But the state that I'm moving to, their Democratic pussies decide to literally pass a law stating it, that a person has to have cannot have a multi-round gun in their possession. That means that they cannot have a revolver. That means they cannot have um oh, what is it, a 22 rifle, which I actually have shot 22 rifles. I've actually shot a 50 BMG, which I fucking love. Oh my gosh, that was hilarious. I love it. I've shot a shotgun that holds multiple shells. But this also would include, yet not limited to, black powder armory as well. But it shouldn't, because black powder armory, which are black powder rifles, revolvers, and shotguns, any kind of firearm that's black powder, that are reproductions, repros from the 19 not 19's my fault, 17 to 1800s until the early 1900s, are considered non-firearms because of the black powder that are inside of them. Um, but I mean, that's the thing. You're allowing uh, Democrats are literally in this new state, literally taking people's Second Amendment rights and just throw them out the window. What are we gonna do? Go with spears and arrows and speak Swahili? Go. I don't care if my comments are being a little bit rambunctious and offensive. I don't care. Why? Because I'm exercising my First Amendment right. But it seems to me that as long as I'm using a firearm to actually hunt wild game, there shouldn't be a fucking problem, you dumb fucks. I'm using it to hunt animals and get the meat. I don't have a vehicle. If I had a vehicle, yes, I would go to the nearest town, which would be 20 plus miles away, and go to the nearest fucking Walmart and go and buy meat from the fucking store. But I don't give a fuck about doing that. I rather go about it the way that it's been before. Telling someone that they have mental health issues is going to prevent them from actually living and having a chance to get shit done is going to end up being a problem. So, use that brain between your ears, not the brain between your legs. Welcome to the real world. The hunt is forever on.